The parallel plate waveguide. We have seen earlier that a parallel plate waveguide supports all the TEM, TM and TE mode. Therefore, we need to describe and we need to analyze for all such modes. That is why all these modes will be discussed in this lecture. The TEM mode. For the TEM mode, we know the longitudinal component of electric and magnetic field both are zero. So that is why, as I have assumed that the z direction is the direction of the propagation, so the longitudinal component of electric and magnetic field, that means the z component of electric and magnetic field, they are zero for the TEM mode. The mode can completely be defined by the transverse component, that means the x and y component of electric and magnetic field. In addition to that, in my earlier lecture, we have observed that the transverse component of electric and magnetic field follows the Laplace equation. In a similar manner, the electrostatic potential follows the Laplace equations, like these equations. Here, phi xy, I am assuming there is the electrostatic potential. Therefore, from the transverse electrostatic potential, which follows the Laplace equations, we can find the uh, equivalent electrostatic field, and from that we can find the corresponding electrostatic magnetic field. So this will be our starting equation. And before to start, we have to define our structure. The structure is defined, the parallel plate actually is defined at y equals to 0 and y equals to d. So that is why the y greater than equals to 0 and less than equals to d is considered. So there the uh, propagation is going to take place in between them, in between these two plates. The both plate are extended some distance y along the x direction and some longer distance along the z direction. So basically, the electric field and magnetic field remains uniform along this x direction. The transverse electric field and magnetic field, they remains uniform along this x directions. But along the z direction, the propagation is taking place. So let's see how can we derive the corresponding electric and magnetic field in a transverse direction. First of all is the boundary conditions. The boundary condition is that you can see from here that ground is connected with the bottom plate and an external voltage source of V naught is connected with the top plate. So the boundary conditions can be defined in this way, that the potential at y equals to 0 is 0 and potential at y equals to d is equals to V naught. Now the solution. The solution is very easy because this phi xy, out of these two coordinate, the phi remains invariant along the direction of x because the entire plate, for both the bottom plate and the top plate, they are at constant potential. For the bottom plate it is at 0 and top plate it is at v naught along the x direction. However, they are varying only along the y direction. So therefore the variations can be included only in the y direction. So if you will integrate this factor once along the y direction, so that will introduce one constant, that is the b I am considering, and the second integrations will include this y and another additional constant a. So we need to find out the values of this a and b, these arbitrary constants, from these boundary conditions. According to this boundary condition, the potential is 0 at y equals to 0, and that is going to define this arbitrary constant a, and which is also 0. Next, the second boundary condition, which is V naught at y equals to d, and that defines this arbitrary constant b, and that is equals to V naught divided by d. And finally, clubbing all of these two arbitrary constant into this solution, we can obtain the potential, that is V naught divided by d times this y. So it is true, this potential, because the potential is varying along the y direction. So therefore this is the correct equations. Now to obtain the transverse electric field, we just need to apply the transverse gradient operator over the potential what I have obtained, and that will result these equations where the electric field has a constant amplitude V naught divided by d, and it is directing from the uh, top plate to the bottom plate, because its negative sign, it is directed in a negative direction, so the top plate to the bottom plate. Now it is a simple matter to include or multiply these propagating factor e to the power j k z, z term with this transverse component, and that defines the complete electric field, the propagation solution for the complete electric field. And finally, the propagating magnetic field associated with the transverse electric field can also be found from the curl operation, but however, in this case, we know the electric field is directed along the y direction, so therefore, and the propagation is taking place along the z direction, so obviously the magnetic field will be directed along the x direction, and that you can resolve by this operation, this cross product between the z and y directions. This is the direction of the propagation and this is the direction of the electric field, and that defines the direction of the magnetic field along the along the x direction. And since it is a TEM mode, obviously the propagation vector or wave number of this propagating wave must be equal to the wave number of the material filling this waveguide in between these two plates. So they will be equal. You can understand the transverse electric field from this simple animations over here, where the propagation is taking place along the z directions. This is the z directions, and you can identify the direction from this little gizmo at this corner. So the propagation you can easily see that it is taking place along the z directions. Why? The variations of this arrow, which represents the directions of the electric field, is taking place along the y direction. So this is the y directions, and this is the x directions, as you can see from here. So uh, these animations is for a frequency of 12 gigahertz. You can see from here, and this is the electric field. So as the phase gets changed, so the propagation is taking place along the z directions, and you can see it is a constant electric field. There is a total electric field has a constant magnitude, so that is why the magnitude is constant and it is varying along the z directions but directed along the y direction. Now the magnetic field. Since the propagation is taking place along the z direction and electric field is varying along the or directed along the y direction, so that defines the direction of the magnetic field, which is along the x directions. So this is the x direction, and since this propagation a factor which includes the sinusoidal oscillation, so these directions of these arrows gets changed when it is changing from one half period to another half period. That is why the orientation of the arrow is directing along the x direction. Next is the TM and TE mode. Before going to describe either of these TE or TM mode, we first need to consider a few things. First of them is that the dimensions along the x, which is defined as W, is much greater than the dimensions along the y, which is D. But for an ideal case, you can easily assume that the dimensions along the z and x is extended up to infinity. Next is the component, electric field component. They are going to be zero, which are parallel to the to top and bottom plate, because this top plate and bottom plates they are made of conductors, and we know the electric field always zero within the conductors. Therefore, the tangential component from the boundary condition, the tangential component of the electric field, they are also going to be zero at this at this y equals to 0 plane and y equals to d plane. So basically the Ez and Ex plane, which will be tangential to this plate, to both of these plates, so they are going to be 0. Along with that, the variations of the electric field along the x direction, variation of all the electric fields along the x directions is going to be 0, because the fields are uniform along the x direction, so therefore no variations can be observed for the electric field as well as for the magnetic field along the x direction. And for the z direction, it only includes the propagating factor, that is the e to the power factor. The TM mode. The TM mode is defined for the longitudinal component of magnetic field, that is the Hz, that is equals to 0, because TM stands for the transverse magnetic field. So magnetic field will have the component transverse to the direction of the propagations. So that defines this longitudinal component must be 0. Plugging this condition into these four reduced equation, you can have these four components, the transverse component, that means the hx, hy, ex and ey, defined in terms of only the longitudinal electric field component. Now it's just a simple matter to find the solution for the electric field component, longitudinal electric field component, and the solutions will be readily available for all of these four components. But anyway, you can do, or you can find this individual component by yourself. If you apply the Helmholtz equations for each of these individual component, you can get their solutions. But the easier way is to find the solution for the Ez and have the solutions for all of these components. So the solution for Ez can be obtained by plugging this Ez into the Helmholtz equation. This is the Helmholtz equation for the longitudinal electric field component, and that electric field component varies all of these x, y and z directions. So variations of the x, y directions we can include by this magnitude term, but the variations along the z directions includes only this e to the power factor to represent that this wave is propagating along the z direction. Furthermore, we know that the plates are uniform along the x direction, so therefore the variations or the derivative with respect to x must be 0. So plugging these two conditions into the first equation, we'll have these expressions where the derivative with respect to y will be retained along with this kc, and kc is just the difference between this kz and k, where kz represents the wave number of the wave which is propagating between these two plates, that means between the medium exists between these two plates, and k defines the wave number, maximum wave number of the medium exists between these two plates. So the solution you can easily find from this expression. The solution can be defined, a general solution can be defined in this way, and you can see that there is no x dependent factor exists over here because it is uniform along the x direction. Now the boundary condition. The boundary condition is that Ez is going to be 0 at y equals to 0, and it is also going to be 0 at y equals to d. So the first boundary condition defines the b equals to 0, and the second boundary condition defines that a times sine kcd is equals to 0. Now a is a magnitude, arbitrary magnitude that cannot be 0. So if it is not 0, so this factor will be 0. And the sine factor, when it is 0, so that defines this kc, which you can find as n pi divided by d. So this is the, from the general solution of sine, you can easily find the what will be the cutoff wave number. Now you have, or you know, what is the cutoff wave number if you know the dimension. Now obviously you should know because you are designing the parallel plates. So once you know the difference between these two plates along the y direction, so that defines your cutoff wave number, and from there the wave number with which the wave should propagate through the medium or through the waveguide, so you can easily find out that wave number. That means the kz you can easily find from this expression where k defines the total wave number of the material filling this waveguide. So therefore we can see there are lots of solutions for n equals to 0, 1, 2 and so on. A few comments on the propagating vector kz. We know that k represents the maximum supported wave number of the material filling the medium between these two parallel plates, because the nr, which represents the uh, refractive index of the material filling the medium between these two parallel plates, so that is included within the expression of the k, so that k obviously defines the maximum wave number gets supported by the medium. Kc, which I have defined in my earlier lecture as the cutoff wave number, right now we have a solution for this Kc, and the solution includes only the separations because n pi these are constant, it includes only the separation. So whenever you have designed a parallel plate waveguide by keeping a finite, by providing a finite separation between these two plates, you have automatically defined the cutoff wave number, and k naught is the wave number in free space. In the case of infinite medium, what I have discussed in all my previous cases, that separation goes to infinity, and that automatically makes this kc 0. And once that kc goes to 0, that means this factor goes to 0, kz becomes equals to k, and which signifies that the wave which propagates through a particular medium having property having the maximum propagating wave number k, and which includes this refractive index nr, the wave should propagate with a wave number which will be equals to that k. That means the wave should be propagated through a wave number having the maximum supported wave number of the particular medium. Now, as you are reducing the separation between these two plates, you are basically limiting the number of waves that can be propagated through the particular medium. In this case, as the plates are placed along the y directions, and they have a finite separation, that is the d, so the number of waves that can be propagated through that particular medium right now have been limited, and the number of waves is defined by this n terms, this factor n that defines the number of waves. So you can easily identify from this expression, from this diagram, where I have plotted this kz with respect to the k. So this is the total maximum supported wave number of the medium, and this is the kz with which the wave should propagate through the medium. And you can see from here that for the kz there exist discrete solutions right now, but for the infinite medium there should be an infinite solutions. Now, from in the solution of this Ez, if you replace this kc by this n pi divided by d, so this will be resulted, and just multiply these propagating terms, that is the e to the power factor with this, so that will define the propagation of the entire longitudinal field, electric field along the x, y and z. But this expression doesn't include this x term, because along the x the electric field is uniform. Let's define the wave number along the z direction in a different way. As I have defined, these k is equals to k naught times this refractive index, and the refractive index is the material filling the medium between two parallel plates. In a similar manner, kz can also be defined as k naught times some effective refractive index of the medium. Since this effective refractive index of the medium exists in the expression of kz, so that effective refractive index can be experienced by the wave when it propagates along the z directions. So that effective refractive index is only for the z directions. In the second case, kc I have obtained from the y derivative. So therefore, kc, which is the cutoff wave number I have defined, so that kc is nothing but the wave number along the y direction. So kz is the wave number along the z direction, and ky is the wave number along the y direction, and right now which has an expression as n pi divided by d. And these two kz and ky defines the total wave number of the medium, or of the material filling the medium between two parallel plates. Now let's plug this expression into the first one and take common k naught from both side of the equal sign. You will have an expression for the effective refractive index in terms of the total refractive index, and an effective refractive index along the y directions. Now from here you can easily identify that this effective refracting index always will be less than the total refractive index. Now consider a special case. Consider that the material which is filling the medium exists between these two parallel plates is the air medium. That means that refractive index nr is equals to 1, and that effective refractive index which the wave experience along the z direction or along the propagating direction is less than 1. And when the refractive index is less than 1, that signifies that the wave is propagating with a speed greater than the speed of light, because the refractive index is defined as the ratio of the speed of light in free space divided by the speed of the wave within the medium we are considering. And Since this refractive index is becoming less than 1, that means the speed of the wave within a particular medium must be greater than the speed of light. So if you use the air medium for the material as a material filling the medium between the parallel plates, so the wave which will propagate through the medium will be greater than the light, greater than the speed of light. Now these are the four reduced equation, and if you plug the expression for Ez what I have obtained over here, so that will define the each and every component. So Ez we have obtained by this expression. Ex will be 0, and Ey you can obtain from here. Ex will be 0 because Ex includes the derivative del x, and that is 0, so that is why Ex will be 0, and Ey you will have over here. And this Hz, which is 0 because we are considering Tm mode, automatically Hz is equal to 0, and Hy it also includes this del x factor, so Hy is also 0. Only Hx we will have the Hx only, and from this expression of Ey and Hx you can easily define this intrinsic impedance of the medium, and which has this expression where this eta represents the intrinsic impedance of the material filling the medium between these two parallel plates. Now the non-zero solutions defines the Tm mode. As we can see, there exists infinite solutions depending upon the values of n. Therefore, a Tmn suffix n is used to define all such modes. So, for each and every value of n, there are a different set of modes, Tm modes. For example, if you put n equals to 0, so Tm0 mode will be resulted, and the properties of the Tm0 mode is this. So Ez will be 0 because the Ez includes the sign term with this n expression, so that will be 0. So Tm0 will contain only the Ey and Hx, but they are right now constant. So the constant electric field will be directed along the y direction, and the constant magnetic field will be directed along the x direction, and the cutoff wave number also will be equals to 0. And if you compare with the TEM mode for the parallel plate waveguide, what I have discussed just at the beginning of this lecture, you can easily identify that the TM0 mode is equivalent to the TEM mode for the parallel plate waveguide. If you put the T n equals to 1, so that will define TM1, and if you consider for n equals to 2, that will define the TM2 mode. And this is the propagating vector for TM1 mode, and this is the propagating vector for TM2 mode. And these are the field components for TM1 and TM2. Let's try to visualize the electric field and magnetic field for TM1 mode. For TM1, the electric field is defined by its Z component and Y component only, and the magnetic field is defined only the X component of the magnetic field only. And this is the wave number with which the wave propagates along the Z direction, and pi divided by d defines the cutoff wave number. If you take the curl over this total electric field, why I am taking this curl? Because this is the expression with which I have started my derivation, and each and every component of the electric field and magnetic field I have defined, uh, and I got those expression from this curl of this electric field and the magnetic field. So therefore, in order to visualize the field, we have to check this curl operation, what it is want to convey to us. Since Ex is 0 and only Ey and Ez exist, so the curl of Ex defines this expression, where the variations with respect to the x I have neglected over here, because the plate is uniform along the x direction, so the variation, there will be no variations with respect to x. That expression of this curl of electric field includes only this factor, and it is directed along the x. So what it signifies? It signifies that the curl represents the rotation of the electric field. So the electric field having the component Ez and Ey, it rotates on a plane having the surface normal along the x. So if you observe the x plane or the yz plane, which has a surface normal along the y x direction, so then we can see the electric field is rotating, and the Ez and Ey these are these two electric field. With these two components, the electric field is rotating as it is propagating along the z direction. So this we are going to observe. Similarly, for the magnetic field, since it has only one component, the x component, so that defines this expression. So for the magnetic field, we are going to observe that the Hx component, which is varying with respect to z as it is propagating also with along the z. Similarly, the Hx component, which also is varying with respect to y, and accordingly it is also propagating towards z. So let's see how we the our argument or our uh, statement do agree with our findings in this expression. So this is the visualization of the electric field. As I told, that electric field, which is the curl operation I have obtained, and that includes this expression. So both the Ez and Ey component will exist, and that Ez and Ey component that rotates on the plane which has a surface normal on the x direction. So I am observing the YZ plane over here, and you can check the plane from this little gizmo I have presented over here. The upward direction is the y direction, the leftward direction is the z direction, and the direction towards you is the x direction. So the electric field, which has two components, the z component and the y component, and with these two components the electric field is rotating like this. It is rotating in this way. So, somewhere it is like this and somewhere it is like this. So this electric field is rotating. You can see from this animation. And while they are rotating, they are propagating along the z directions, and that is due to the e to the power z factor, the propagating factor. Now let's see the magnetic field. Look, the magnetic field, it is not rotating because it has only one component, the hx component, but the derivative includes along the z and along the y. So the hx component, means it is directing along the x direction. So magnetic field is directed along the x, and it has a variations along the z. So you can see from here, the magnetic field is directing along the x, and it gets varied. Somewhere it attains its peak, somewhere it is almost zero, somewhere it is attaining its negative peak along the z direction, and with such kind of variations it is also propagating along the z direction, and that propagation is due to the e to the power factor. Similarly, if you see the y direction, there also the magnetic field is directed along the x direction, but if you move along the y direction, you can see the variations. Somewhere it is 0, somewhere it is positive x directed, somewhere it is negative x directed. So therefore, it is also varying along the y direction. So that is why it includes that derivative. So this is the visuals of the corresponding magnetic field, which is directed along the x direction for the TEM mode for parallel plate waveguide. And for this parallel plate waveguide, the waveguides exist. The plate exists over here. This is the top plate and this is the bottom plate. Now the TE mode. For TE mode, the EZ will be 0 and the rest are the similar to the TM mode I have followed. So this is the Helmholtz equations for the Hz, because since Ez is equals to 0, so there will be only component which will be parallel to the direction of propagation, Hz. And why I am going to find out the solution of the Hz? Because all other components are right now, the reduced components are right now defined in terms of the Hz. So finding solution for the Hz will automatically find solution for all of such four components. And similarly, the hz has the variations along the x, y, and z, but the z variation includes the propagation vector, the propagation term, which includes this wave number kz, and del x variations all along the x directions is also I am considering 0, and that includes the only y derivative with the cutoff wave number kc, and that right now we have a solution for the hz. But we cannot apply the boundary condition for hz, that means the hz is equals to 0 at y equals to 0 and y equals to d, because these two plates are made of conductors. So only the electric field, the tangential component of the electric field, that can be 0 for this conductor. So be careful. you cannot apply the boundary conditions directly for the magnetic field. So first you have to define these Ey and Ex from this expression of the magnetic field. Then you can apply the boundary condition for the electric field. So plugging this equation over here, this four reduced equation, you can see that this del x will be 0, so that will define this Hs equals to 0, and here also Ey will be 0, del x is 0, so that defines that Ey is 0. So it leaves only two components, Ex and Hy. So as a whole, here also we have three components, two for magnetic field, one is Hz and Hy, and one for the electric field, that is Ex. And the boundary conditions that should be applied, that is for Ex. So here is a total set of the electric and magnetic field. So only Hy and Hz component exist, and here also only a Ex component exists. So this includes the variations only in X and Y direction. So in order to take, or in order to include the variations along the Z, just multiply these propagating factor, that is e to the power factor, with these Hy, Hz and Ex, and you will have the uh, total solution for the propagating electromagnetic wave. Now the boundary conditions. So as I told, the boundary conditions should be applied for the Ex, because it is the electric field that is going to be 0 at y equals to 0 and at y equals to d. So that boundary conditions will define the A equals to 0 and B sin kCd is equals to 0. And in a similar way, I have obtained this kCd in my Tm mode. In this case also, we can easily find that kc is also n pi divided by d. And once you have obtained all of these, so automatically you have obtained the solution for Hy, Hz and Ex, where Bn is the arbitrary constant. And this is the expression for the intrinsic impedance for the TE mode. Unlike the TM0 mode, a TE0 mode cannot be present for the parallel plate waveguide, because if you put TE0, that means n equals to 0, so that will make this Ex component 0. Previously we have seen that Ez was 0 because I'm considering that TE mode, so the electric field must not be along the propagation direction, so that makes that Ez 0, and Ey 0 due to the del x variations. The only electric field that was present in the expression of TE modes was Ex. Now by considering n equals to 0, so that only electric field goes to 0. But in order to support the propagation of the electromagnetic wave, at least one electric field and one magnetic field must be there. Right now we don't have any electric field, so therefore TE0 mode cannot be supported for the parallel plate waveguide. And this is the visualizations of the electric field. So only electric field that exists along the x direction, and in a similar way, if you take the curl of this electric field, so that defines the variations only the z directions and the y directions. So if you can check from here the electric field which is directed, so the arrows are pointing along the x direction, either along the positive x or the negative x, and it is propagating along the z directions, as well as it has a variation along the z direction. Variation and propagation are two different things. That means if I pause this picture for at a particular moment, you can see that electric field is varying along the z direction. So somewhere it has a larger arrows, somewhere it has a smaller arrows, so it is varying. So the arrow represents or the size of the arrows represent the magnitude or the strength of the electric field. So somewhere it has a larger strength, somewhere it has a smaller strength along the z directions, and along the y direction also it is varying, because somewhere it has a larger strength and it has a smaller strength. But the propagation term that exists due to this e to the power factor, and due to that propagation terms, it is propagating along this direction, it is propagating along the z directions. So while they are varying along the z, they are propagating along the z. They are varying along the y, they are propagating along the z. So that is why this electric field, similar to the TM mode, the magnetic field that includes the derivative z derivative and y derivative, of the x component, in a similar way, if you take curl of the electric field, so that also will include the z derivative and y derivative for this ex component of the electric field. This is the magnetic field, and magnetic field includes the y and z components. So if you take curl of the total magnetic field, so then also you will have that expression that defines that these two magnetic field is rotating on a plane having surface normal along the direction of the x. And from this gizmo over here, you can easily identify the upward direction is the y direction, and this direction is the longitudinal direction, and this plane is has a surface normal along towards the u, that is that direction is the x direction, and the electric field is rotating along that.